is this charge that's at your... And how much is it? What are you charging people?
Well, we have put a £5 charge. It's a nominal charge across the board. I mean, really to take into account all of the extras that we put in. I mean, I certainly don't think that it would be fair to be charging more for our services. I think that would be very strange. And I have been hearing of people putting phenomenal charges on the services they do because they, routes are longer or they've got more work to do in terms of repair. But these are the things that we do on a daily basis. I mean, so that seems very odd to do that. But certainly from the point of view of all of the measures that we put in a nominal £5 fee to cover all of the things that we put in terms of screens and PPE, et cetera, et cetera.
But let's say in your business, though, let's say you would normally have, say, 15 appointments in a day, but if you've got to make time to clean up the service area and get everything all ready and sanitised for the next customer, which takes maybe 10, 15 minutes, so you're down to about 7 or 8 appointments a day. Isn't it fair, maybe, that you charge a little bit more for each of those appointments?
That's exactly right. I mean, your figures are there. In fact, sometimes I'm down to only 6 people a day. And of course, not only is it 6 people a day, but these are much longer days because we've done all of those things that you've just said in terms of stretching out appointments and having to use the time in between to sanitize down. So there is no question of people making, tons of money and exploiting anybody here. These are literally nominal charges that we're just trying to put in.
Jonathan Downey, coming to you because you think that people should pay more, otherwise businesses are going to fail as a consequence. But isn't it an issue that for those people who've struggled financially through the last few months, people have lost their jobs or they've had reduced income, there's real uncertainty, that it's kind of a double whammy when they then emerge at the end of it, they want to go out again and start spending, but prices are extra as a consequence. It's a bit of a kick in the teeth for people.
Yeah, I think customers can vote with their feet, though. I mean, there are lots of businesses in my sector, in hospitality, bars and restaurants, that are discounting, that are passing the VAT saving on that we've been given to customers. But some other businesses just can't. Each business is different, and every business owner makes the best decision they can for themselves, for their employees, and for their customers. It's kind of like a partnership, We're not trying to take advantage of the situation. We've all been hit by extra costs. I was in a restaurant yesterday evening that a friend owns in London, and he spent thousands of pounds on new screens and reopenings and new uniforms, and he's got extra staff on to sanitise. And I thought they should charge a cover charge, a little bit like Nicky's doing, £5 a head to come in and just cover some of these extra costs. But he's decided not to do that. He's only running at 70% capacity because of distancing requirements. And so by being open, he's losing more money than he was by being closed. So there's still a long way for us to get back into business and making money again to secure jobs. And it's very important that we charge a reasonable amount, a little bit extra, not too much. If it's too much for some customers, then they'll go elsewhere. And that's just the fact of life.
So you're sort of saying like a cocktail normally sold at £9 will now be £10 or £11 to cover the cost. So are you saying that you wouldn't be viable, your business would go under unless you impose this extra charge on people?
Exactly that. Even with that small increase, we still may not be viable. It depends how many people come out. We're still seeing a reluctance to come out and eat and drink in bars and restaurants. At 50% capacity, we're losing money. At 70% capacity, we might just about be breaking even. We open on Friday and we'll see what happens. I'm confident that enough people will come out to make it worth our while, but we never know. And if there's another wave or a second concern about the virus, we'll see those numbers drop off again and we won't be making money. We'll be losing lots. And we might not be in business in a few weeks' time.
True, pal. You own a spa, Candy Girl Spa in Birmingham. Interestingly, you think that actually you shouldn't be passing the money on to the customer. Nicky talks about this £5 charge for PPE. That's not something that you're thinking of in your spa, then?
Absolutely not. I mean, listen, I understand the challenges that businesses face. And I also understand the challenges that, we need to try and get the economy back up and running. But I don't think that the cost or the customer should bear the brunt of that. I absolutely think that it should be landed at the government's door and they need to be doing more to support businesses. So, for example, if we as businesses have paid out on PPE, then actually the government need to be issuing PPE grants. They need to reduce the distancing rule because that would massively help a lot of businesses. The customer's buyer journey has already been affected quite significantly, actually. Particularly with our salon, we now can no longer have walk-ins, so the customers have to make appointments. They then have to give a deposit over, which is another inconvenience for them. When they get to our salon, their temperature's tested, another inconvenience. Where they have to sanitize their hands, another inconvenience. They also are seen by our staff members or treated by our staff members who has PPE on, which again would cause a disconnect in some way, another inconvenience. And then after all those inconveniences, we're then saying, well, actually, we also want to charge another, I don't know, £5 for the services. I just think at some point we need to treat customers how we expect to be treated. And as a business, yes, I am a business owner and I understand the struggle, but I'm also a customer. And as a customer, it doesn't sit right with me to pay additional prices, so I wouldn't impose that on my customers.
Nikki, doesn't sit right with True. Why does it sit right with you?
You know, and I think I understand everything that True is saying. And I think that there are times when it didn't necessarily sit well with me in the beginning. But I think that this was always, you know, a trial in a sense. I mean, we don't really want to be doing this, but actually not one person has actually mentioned it at all. Nobody actually thinks that it is unfair. So I totally get when True says that he's a customer as well, and I'm with him. I don't really want to be doing these charges, but there are you know, strange circumstances, unprecedented circumstances, and I think as long as it is a nominal charge and you are not, you know, charging more for your services, I think that from that point of view I have to agree that some form of charge needs to be there in order for all of these businesses to survive. And just to make a point, you know, it's very much the case that people always think that the higher end businesses, you know, are kind of rolling in it, etc., etc. You know, we all run relatively close to the wind, and actually having a massive reduction in the people that we are doing puts a real strain on our business and all businesses. So I think this is a point of us trying to get through as well. And I think that hopefully these charges won't be there forever. And you know, I think that for now, that's how they're going to be.
Yeah. Well, what it is, it's interesting that True suggested that, you know, I'm not sure what the situation is with PPE. Supposedly you all have to privately go and try and find this PPE. But do you think the government should give you some sort of grant to cover some of that, Nikki?
I mean, it would be great. I mean, the government has really stepped in, you know, phenomenally, you know, in the beginning, certainly with the furlough scheme and all of the other grant, you know, schemes that are there. So it's not that they're not doing it, but this does seem kind of something that should be done in some way. And if it's possible, it would be great if there was some help in some form.